There is a certain kind of person you rarely see online, not because they are hiding, not because they are afraid, but because they have realized something most people have not. In a world where everyone is performing, they have chosen silence. In a world obsessed with being seen, they have mastered the art of being invisible. And here is the thing most people get wrong. This is not weakness, this is power. If you have ever wondered why some people refuse to post their photos on social media, while others cannot go a single day without uploading a new selfie, stay with me. Because what you are about to hear will shift the way you see attention, validation, and control forever. Let me tell you about Daniel. He is 34 years old, runs a successful consulting business, confident, well-liked, socially skilled. But if you scroll through his social media, you will not find a single photo of his face. Not one. His last profile picture is a geometric shape. His Instagram feed? Empty. His LinkedIn? Professional, but distant. And people notice. His friends joke about it. His family questions it. Potential clients sometimes ask, "Why are you so private? Are you hiding something?" But here is what they do not understand. Daniel is not hiding. He is simply refusing to participate in a game he never agreed to play. And psychologically, that makes him more dangerous than anyone realizes. Most people think avoiding social media photos is about insecurity. That is the surface level take. The easy explanation. Oh, they must not like how they look. They must be shy. They must have low self-esteem. Wrong. Research in behavioral psychology tells us something far more interesting. People who do not post photos of themselves often score higher in internal locus of control. That means they believe their value comes from within, not from external validation. They do not need the world to confirm their existence. They already know who they are. Think about that for a second. While most people are refreshing their notifications, measuring their worth by likes and comments, these individuals have completely detached their identity from public approval. That is not insecurity. That is liberation. There is a concept in Stoic philosophy called preferred indifference. It means you can enjoy praise, but you do not depend on it. You can appreciate attention, but you do not need it to function. The people who avoid posting photos, they have internalized this at a level most will never reach. Let me take you back to Daniel's story. When he was 26, he was the opposite. Every weekend, new photos. Every event, a post. He was not even thinking about it. It was just what people did. Social media was the stage, and like everyone else, he was performing. Then one day, someone said something to him that changed everything. A mentor of his, an older man who had built multiple businesses, looked at Daniel's phone during a meeting and said, "You are leaking energy." Daniel did not understand at first. The man explained, "Every time you post a photo, you are asking a question. Do you like this? Do you approve of me? Am I enough? And until you get the answer, you are not fully present. You are waiting. You are hoping. You are depending." Daniel laughed it off at the time. But that night, he could not stop thinking about it. He started noticing how often he checked his phone after posting, how a lack of engagement made him feel slightly off, how a flood of likes gave him a temporary high that faded within an hour. He realized his mood was being controlled by people who were not even thinking about him. So he ran an experiment. He stopped posting photos of himself for 30 days. No explanation, no announcement, just silence. And something strange happened. At first he felt uncomfortable, almost naked, like a part of him was missing. But after 2 weeks, something shifted. He stopped caring. He stopped wondering. He stopped performing. And for the first time in years, he felt completely free. Now let me be clear. This is not about demonizing social media. This is about understanding the psychological cost of constant visibility. Because here is what most people do not realize. Every time you post a photo, you are opening yourself up to judgment. And judgment, even positive judgment, requires energy to process. Psychologists call this evaluation apprehension. It is the anxiety that comes from knowing you are being watched and assessed. Some people thrive on it. Performers, leaders, public figures. But others find it exhausting, not because they are weak, but because their nervous system is wired differently. Highly sensitive people, introverts, and deep thinkers often fall into this category. They are not afraid of attention. They are just more aware of its cost. They know that every image they share becomes a data point in someone else's perception of them. And once it is out there, they cannot control it. There is also something called the spotlight effect. It is a cognitive bias where people overestimate how much others are paying attention to them. But here is the twist. People who do not post photos often have the opposite bias. They correctly assume that most people are not thinking about them at all. And that realization is incredibly freeing. Think about the last time you saw someone's photo online. How long did you look at it? 5 seconds? 10? Maybe you double-tapped and moved on. That is the reality. Most of the content we consume is forgotten within moments. But the person who posted it, they might be checking that post for days, measuring, comparing, wondering. The people who refuse to play that game, they have already done the math. They know the return on investment is not worth it. Let me tell you about another person. Her name is Amara. She is in her late 20s, works in tech, sharp mind, strong opinions. But her Instagram is a ghost town. No selfies, no group photos, just occasional quotes and landscapes. And when people ask her why, she says something that always catches them off guard. She says, "I do not want to be remembered by my face. I want to be remembered by my impact." That is a level of self-awareness most people will never reach. Because here is the uncomfortable truth. When you plaster your face all over social media, people start associating you with your appearance. They form opinions based on aesthetics. They box you in. They stop seeing the depth. But when you remove your image from the equation, people have no choice but to engage with your ideas, your words, your actions. You become less of a brand and more of a mystery. And mystery, as any strategist will tell you, is a form of power. There is a reason why the most powerful people in the world are often the least visible. They do not need to be seen to be influential. Their presence is felt in other ways. Decisions, movements, shifts. The people who do not post photos, they understand this instinctively. Now let me address the elephant in the room. Some people will say, if you do not post photos, you are just scared. You are hiding. You are insecure. And sure, for some people, that might be true. But let me ask you this. What is more insecure? Refusing to seek validation, or needing it so badly that you cannot go a week without posting? Real confidence does not need an audience. It does not need proof. It just exists. The people who avoid social media photos are not running from the world. They are running their own race, and they are doing it on their terms. Here is something else most people miss. When you stop posting photos, you reclaim your narrative. Think about it. Every photo you post is a snapshot, a frozen moment. And once it is online, that moment defines you in someone else's mind. But you are not a moment. You are a process. You are constantly evolving. And the people who understand that, they refuse to let a two-dimensional image represent a multi-dimensional life. There is also a strategic element to this. In a world where everyone is oversharing, the person who shares nothing stands out. Scarcity creates value. When people cannot access you easily, they become more curious. They pay more attention when you do show up. They listen more carefully when you speak. This is not manipulation. This is simply understanding human psychology. We value what is rare. We ignore what is abundant. The person who posts every day becomes background noise. But the person who appears once in a while, they become an event. Daniel told me something once that stuck with me. He said, "The moment I stopped trying to be seen, people started actually seeing me because I was not performing anymore. I was just present. And presence, real presence, is magnetic." Now I know some of you are thinking, but what about connection? Do not we post photos to stay connected? And yes, that is true for some people. But let me ask you this. How many of your online connections are real? How many of those people liking your photos would actually show up if you needed help? The people who do not post photos often have fewer connections online, but deeper connections offline. They invest their energy into real relationships, face-to-face conversations, shared experiences, trust built over time. They are not collecting followers. They are building a circle, and there is a massive difference. There is also something liberating about not being documented. Think about the last time you did something just for yourself, not for content, not for a story, just because you wanted to. How did that feel? For most people, that feeling is rare, because we have been conditioned to turn every experience into content, every moment into a post, every emotion into a caption. But the people who do not post photos, they live entire lives that no one sees. And that is not sad. That is sacred. Let me give you a final thought. In the attention economy, your focus is your most valuable asset. Every time you post a photo, you are giving a piece of that focus away. You are asking others to validate it. You are waiting for a response. You are feeding the algorithm. And in return, you get a fleeting sense of relevance. But the people who refuse to post, they keep their focus. They direct it inward. They use it to build, to think, to create. They do not waste energy managing perceptions. They invest it in reality. So if you are someone who does not post photos, do not let anyone make you feel like something is wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not missing out. You are simply operating on a different frequency, a higher one. And if you are someone who does post, that is fine too. But ask yourself this: are you doing it because you want to, or because you feel like you have to? Are you sharing your life, or performing it? Are you seeking connection or validation? The answers to those questions will tell you everything you need to know. Master your mind, master your life, Phyllis Wisdom, precision, strategy, success.